everybody. It's Peps, it's J-Dog, it's Lace Out, it's our round 8 review, and more importantly, how good is the greatest game in the world? Welcome everybody joining the show for the first time or returning. You know who you are. You're with Chris Pepper, the 377 game superstar of the East Keeler Football Club, and you know who I've got with me. It's the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jamie Wallis, the J-Dog, joining me for a massive discussion about another massive round of football. J-Dog, welcome to another episode, my friend.
Thanks, Peps. Hey, everyone. Bloody excited to get into this one. Not a whole lot of news, Peps, but we're going to make the show our usual show, and we're going to do it with absolute class and maybe some jokes.
And you know what? If this was Rage on Channel 2, the guest of this episode would be Khalees, and she would bring the milkshakes to the yard, because that is what we're going to do, listeners. We bring the milkshakes to the yard, just the way you like it, shaked up. Rightio, lots to get through. Let's just get a bit of housekeeping out of the way. First and foremost, everybody joining us, first time, many times, long time, short time, thank you very much, because without you, we don't have a show. It's as simple as that. Okay, so keeps tuning in. Pump us a review on iTunes, everybody. There's more people that need to know about us and how good we are, so get on that if you can.
Just pump
Second
us.
thing, we're still going with our listener feedback survey. Get on that, throw it in, tell us what you like about the show, and if you've got any some suggestions, throw them our way. Third thing, we've got another giveaway coming up very shortly, so I can't wait to tell you about that one. Just keeping it under wraps, but just wait for that. And most importantly, proud supporter of the show, Sharon. They gave a ball away earlier in the year. Remember, get on their website, put the code LACEOUT in the checkout. You'll get 30% off. As Jamie would say, 2 for 1. Get yourself a new pill to kick around. It's getting into winter. You don't want a lot of waterlogged footy. You just want to enjoy it for what it is. But let's get into all of the nitty-gritty from round 8. It means we're going around the grounds with our newsman. You know who that is. Jamie, the J-Dog Wallis. Take it away, superstar.
Peps, that is a hell of an intro. Have a sit down, take a breath. You fine? You good?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
Okay,
I'm good.
Good. All right.
I'm good.
Peps, I want to just check, are you sitting down or are you not sitting down?
Why is that, mate? I'm actually standing up tonight. I'm standing up.
Well, let me tell you, the AFL has come hard. There is a new AFL reality TV show that's going to be announced. Peps?
Yes, it is. And it is massive. It's just,
so
massive.
excited.
You should be excited for this one. This one's just been announced by the AFL. It's going to be a reality documentary, and it's going to be titled Undefeated, focusing on the Melbourne Football Club. And will be directed by a first-time Irish director. His name is Aiden Oh.
Nice one. The problem with that, though, Peps, is I'm not sure if you guys have got any currency in the bank for your supporters to watch another documentary that you guys have put out.
Hey, we went to hell and back, and it was good. But Aiden Oh, he's a well-known documentary presenter. He is going to go again with our Undefeated. We're looking forward to it. Everybody's going to know about how is Melbourne, what's making Melbourne tick, and Undefeated, directed by Aiden Oh, who will be giving you all the secrets. I'm joking.
The Peps, one problem.
Narelle told me not to go with this joke, and I shouldn't have.
Well, Peps, I think the only problem is with that is I think his producer is Crisis, so you might be in trouble.
Crisis, no, that's the 1 and 8 going to be done by that's going to be the Collingwood.
The Collingwood.
1 and 7, yeah, 1 and 8.
Peps,
from New Zealand.
Let's roll forward. Let's roll forward 12 weeks, 13 weeks, 14 weeks, 12 weeks. What happens if you guys miss again, Peps? Like, can you just imagine you 12 weeks future from here missing out on the 8th by 0.5% again?
Oh. Look, if it happens, it happens.
Come on.
If Melbourne missed the 8 this year, and look, there are no certainties at the moment. There are only 4 games and a bucket load of percentage in. If they miss the 8, I'll get a Port Adelaide tattoo on my foot.
No, on your cheek.
My bum cheek. I'll get the lace out logo tattooed if Melbourne miss the 8.
A dusty, right there.
Oh, hold on, a dusty haircut?
No, a dusty tat.
Oh, I might get a dusty tat there.
Yeah.
I'm saving that for the kids. When the kids want to get their tattoo, I'll tattoo them there. Look, I don't think we'll miss the 8. I reckon the 8's pretty much settled. It's just all top 4 these days. It's all top 4. But you know what? Mate, there's more than one team. Hey, you know what we might do? Quickly, we do this at the start of the episode. I reckon it's probably a really good time to just have a quick look at the AFL ladder as part of everything. Everything. All right, so let's have a look at the ladder. We might as well belt this bad boy out. Okay. At the top, suffering from a severe case of altitude sickness, is the Melbourne Football Club on 32 points. Very, very foreign territory as we speak. This could be like the Leicester City of 2021. The Western Bulldogs, great comeback win against Carlton on the weekend, sitting on 28. Port Adelaide on 24. Good to get back on the winning side of things. Mm-hmm. And then there's a nice little squeeze of lots of pretty goodness. Geelong were dominant on Friday night. Brisbane Lions did what they had to do. Sydney Swans, they just did get beaten by the better team, but they didn't put themselves to shame. The West Coast Eagles and Richmond, who are just sputtering along, and they are a massive chance of missing the 8 this year if things don't quickly get organised. GWS, the rampaging GWS, just outside on percentage, as is Fremantle and as is St Kilda. The Gold Coast Suns, with the healthiest percentage of any team outside the 8, 101%, sitting on 12 points. They just can't get the wins. They're getting so close, and it's very frustrating to watch because they are a team that, if they made finals, would be a massive achievement for that group of young players. Mm-hmm. Carlton, otherwise known as Carl Tank, because that's what they did on the weekend, also on 12. The Adelaide Crows, once again on 12. And then we have the bottom 4. Essendon, Collingwood, Hawthorn, and on 0 points and at 52.7%, North Melbourne, who really tried to give Collingwood a shake on the weekend, but were unable to. So there's your round 8 ladder. Nothing really surprising at the moment. I think your top 4 to 6 are locked in. Mm-hmm. I reckon teams like Sydney, Richmond, GWS, Fremantle, and I would maybe throw in there St Kilda, are going to be battling for those last couple of spots in the 8.
So still wide open then, Peps?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Wide open, like the front door at Granny's. Come in, everybody. Be part of the final 8.
Wow. What can we say? Let's move on to our next topic, Peps. Not only did we want Thursday night teams back.
Yes!
We got it. We are getting back Thursday night football, Peps.
Tipped out spoke, lace out spoke, the community spoke, and they listened.
Starting from round 10 this year, we are going to see Thursday night slot. It is back on our TVs. It is the official kickoff to the weekend, and I could not be more excited.
And you know what? We're actually going to get teams with interchange and with emergencies for the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday games, squads for Sunday and Monday. So we're not just going to be giving ballparks, we're giving accurate information by the number 1 footy tipping teams podcast, tipped out, just the way you like it. Looking forward to it.
So how good is that? We're going to start to see it all. It's going to be we're some of the great things we saw from last year we're starting to bring back in. I'd still love to see games every night of the week. That's my personal thing. But it's a good start with having a Thursday night kickoff to your weekend.
Yeah, I reckon Thursday to Sunday. You need a couple of days to decompress.
No. Monday night's a classic.
No, they go off in Melbourne. Actually, it's shocking. No, Thursday to Sunday. What do you reckon, people on the chat? Reckon Thursday to Sunday is pretty much good for us? Mwah. Exactly right. They're talking about it. Look, they're all coming in at the moment. Big old Nicky boys saying, the Port Adelaide podcast saying we're absolutely loving that.
Yep.
Having those Thursday night teams. And we're excited for it too, J-Dog. So.
Yep, I'm pumped for it.
All right, give me some news. What's some news? Has there been anything going on in the world of football outside of some cracking games, which we're going to have a quick chat about too?
Do you want to talk about the dust-up that Shire and Daniel Rioli got into on the weekend?
Yeah, look. I think this has been spoken a fair bit. If you don't know, Jamie's going to go into it. I have my opinion on it, and I think we're a little bit different on this. So, for the people who haven't heard what actually happened, Jade, I'll let you jump in with a bit of an overview, and then we'll have a bit of a quick chat about it.
Sure. The boys were out with the ladies. On Saturday night, and they got into a bit of an altercation on early Sunday morning at a club. All to do with some people, sounds like they were harassing Rioli's girlfriend. From there, what's happened is the boys have stood up for Rioli's girlfriend and have got into an altercation. What that has led to is Shai Bolton breaking his hand and Rioli with a shiner. I think that was only
couple of stitches. Yeah, couple of wicked witches underneath the eye.
So I guess the conversation around it is that from a professional point of view, from a professional sporting point of view, what should have the boys done? Is it right what they've done, or should they have just de-escalated the situation and just left it because they are a target? They are a target. People know who they are.
Look, J-Dog, in my humble opinion, and once again, I'm not an expert on all this stuff, right? But
no.
They're humans. They've got to have a life. I reckon the scumbags are the one that just low-hanging fruited them and just had a crack. And to have a go at his girlfriend, that's excuse the term, that's bullshit. That's weak, okay? And for the two to stand up, they weren't looking for trouble.
They weren't.
They copped it, and it's just a shame because Shai Bolton set the world alight with what he did on Friday night. Played a cracking game, probably Richmond's best player on the night.
Cracking season.
He's probably been best player all season. Out of contract at the end of the year. Potentially he's playing in a team that's not going to – maybe he's thinking about moving on to somebody else, moving on to another team, a team with a future. I think Richmond are done, to be honest. I reckon they won't make the 8.
Hang on. Whoa.
Yep, you can lock this one down. Richmond will not make the 8. Okay, and I reckon Shai Bolton should do the right thing and leave.
Note that.
And go to North.
Jeez, I can't get the post notes up going, Peps.
They're on fire. I literally think that to their credit, they've done the right thing. Unfortunately, it's just escalated. People look. We don't know how slosh they were. We don't know how wiped they were. That's not the point. Someone's had a crack at the girlfriend. They've stood up for it, and it's escalated. So I think it's just more of a shame on society.
Can I come at it from a different point of view, Peps?
You can if you want to, but remember they're human beings with a life, and they're entitled to go out and should be entitled to go out and have a beverage and under the assumption that they're not going to cop any crap.
Right. Totally agree with what you just said. All of that. But the contrary point of view to that is you're professional sports people. You know you're going to be a target. You've been spoken about it through every football club from under 16s right through to AFL level about being a target and Saturday nights and blah, 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 about removing yourself from those situations. So see the issue and just get yourself out of that situation because you don't know where it could end up.
Look, I'll say something, Jamie, and look, we've been through this being, renowned podcasters. We cop a bit of grief.
Absolutely.
It's not actually when they see us. It's when they hear, when we open our voice, when we say, Zinger Burger with a Pepsi Max, please. They go, oh, the lace out guy. And we cop the grief from the KFC dude in the drive-thru. Okay. Or it could be when we're calling up to check our Telstra bill. That's when they give us grief. So we can definitely empathise with these two that being celebrated people in the community, you do cop a bit of grief. And sometimes it's like, take a bit of a step back there, Tiger, if you can.
What about the issue that we're seeing Rioli again in another fracas? Is that a cause of concern for Richmond?
I reckon he's been in more fracas than he's had touches this year. Because let's be honest, he has been pretty woeful. Right. He has been pretty woeful this year. And even Richmond supporters. If his name wasn't Rioli, he wouldn't be getting a game. It's like Dustin Martin. If his name wasn't Dustin Martin, he wouldn't get a game.
I'll be interested, Peps, for me to sort of round this one back around on itself, wrap around itself. I'll be interested in the next couple of weeks to see where this ends up. Where there's more come out, or that's it now, we've settled, we're done, and we move on. I'll be interested to see where it ends up.
Nah, it's done, mate. We won't hear any more of this. Buzz is saying they might have started it. I don't think so, Buzz. I think the reports coming out is that they were just caught in a bad place at a bad time. Pretty much like St Kilda this year. Boom tish.
All right.
Alrighty. So let's move on from that one. Hopefully they all get back to playing some semi-decent football. Enough where they don't make the finals.
Speaking of Riolis,
Give somebody else a go. Yep.
Peps, do you want to touch on this on the next Rioli?
I don't really want to touch the next Rioli, but I'll give you a little bit of info about it. So Willie Rioli, we already know he's been done for a bit of drug tampering, bit of swapping the urine with some Gatorade. Has been
What
caught
flavour?
with cannabis.
What's yellow flavour?
I reckon he would have gone with Stormbreaker Blue.
You reckon he's gone for the blue, Ryan?
I reckon he went with the blue. What do you reckon, listeners? What do you reckon when Willie Rioli failed his drug test? What colour Gatorade do you reckon he went with? I reckon Stormbreaker Blue.
What is the
Like the
standard
Marvel Special Edition.
What's the standard Gatorade flavour? Is it orange or is
lemon?
it yellow?
Oh, lemon lime. You'd go. The old lemon lime.
I don't know. I don't drink Gatorade.
Oh, you're a Powerade man, aren't you? Okay, but anyway, he's being done for possession of cannabis in the Northern Territory, and will be going to court over this as well too. So, look, he stuffed up, but geez, it's been dragged out for way too long with this poor guy. Like, it's gone on way too long. And look, maybe he was doing it for medicinal purposes. We don't know. He might have had, asthma, some hay fever.
Just going to tap my screen here.
Yep.
Peps, are you feeling all right? Is this the same Peps? You would be very angry about this usually.
I don't believe in drugs, full stop. But you know what? He's had an absolute shocking last 12 to 18 months.
Right.
Give the guy a break. Like, imagine we had to stop doing this podcast for 12 to 18 months.
Oh, that'd be a travesty.
Oh, for the listeners, yes. But for me, I wouldn't have to look at your face twice a week.
What's your position, Peps?
Oh, so be it. Like,
So be it.
He's not dealing it. It's his own. I'm not. Yeah, there's worse things going on in the world than a little bit of. Yeah, nah.
No.
Like I said, I say no to drugs, but when I look at that, I go, mate, he doesn't need it. Like, why you carry it around?
Do you think he's spoken about how he wants to get back into the team, start playing football again, and then this just happens?
Yeah, you know what? It just happens. That's it. Like I said, there's two guys have had their heads beaten in on Saturday night. That could have been a lot worse than what's happened to this guy. So another one of those, okay, see it, move on. To be honest, that's what I think about it anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Fair enough.
Hey, all right, next one. What have you got?
Next one for me is there's not a whole lot of news.
There's not a lot of news, is there, this week?
Well, we can talk about something, but I mean, I've sort of got this in my 3-2-1 in my.
Well, why don't we do our 3-2-1s, everybody? Why don't we get onto the 3-2-1? So you know what it's time for? It's time to spin the magnets. So someone's going to be, 3 are going to get dragged, 3 are going to get the votes. Where would you like to start from, mate? Would you like to give out the good news or give out the bad news first and foremost? Jamie Wallis, over to you, kind sir.
I want to give out the bad news because I think we're going to have some talking points from here, Peps.
Oh, all right, let's go. So, Ron, are you there, Ron? Hold on, Ron's on the phone. Give me a moment.
Haley off, Ellingworth on. Bloody weak as piss.
Good on you, Ron. All right, you start with your 3-2-1, and then I'll do my 3-2-1, I reckon, and then we'll swap it for the goods.
Okay, so my number one vote goes to the Carlton Crumble.
Oh, do you have that with custard or low-fat ice cream?
Yikes, I have that with embarrassment.
Oh, God. They were woeful. Like, they were playing such good football.
Yes.
And then the AFL's version of David Boone, the 5'2" little fella, Caleb Daniel, goes back and just slaughtered. He was slicing and dicing the midfield apart. He was sensational. And you know you're struggling when Josh Bruce kicks 5. You know you're struggling. Mm-hmm. He went against Batman, tore him apart like the Riddler.
Peps, I'm not going to ask the question. I want to ask the question, but I don't want to. Has Carlton improved this year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think they have.
Is that going to be... Are Carlton people out there, would they be feeling frustrated with their team this year?
course they would be.
Especially after
I wouldn't
that.
say this year. I'd say the last 10, 12 years.
well-
Join the club, boys.
They had a great win against Essendon. I'd say probably against the odds.
Essendon are lower on the ladder than them, so I wouldn't exactly say that.
They were leading the game by 27 points with 6 minutes to play in the third quarter.
How many times have we already seen this throughout the year, J-Dog? How many teams have given up 4 to 5 goal leads? It's happening throughout the league. Teams get a run on, and they can't stop run-ons.
27 points. They didn't kicked one goal in the last 30 minutes of the game.
No, that's not really anything
I
different.
mean, it's not much different to Richmond kicking 2 goals for a whole half.
Yep, that was funny, wasn't it?
Just a little bit. So Peps, I don't know. Carlton crumble for me. That's my number one because to be completely a little bit frank with you here, Peps,
Yeah, mate.
I wouldn't have mind Western Bulldogs to lose that game just to push us just a little bit closer to them. Anyway. We might have overtaken them on the ladder. That'd have been all right. And then Peps, we'd have a podcast with you and I, 1 and 2.
I know. How good is it?
So
is
Carlton
fantastic.
ruined it for me.
Oh, look, I don't think that they're that bad, Carlton. They're having a crack. Mind you, Sam Walsh is an absolute gun. That's all I can say about that is. But look, I'll put it this way, right? So last year, their percentage was 94.34 at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. Now, looking at this year being 2021, you're looking at their percentage at the moment being 95.18. So it is 1% different, but that's after 8 rounds. Mm-hmm. So they are improving. They have, in terms of the way that they're performing, I think they've got, mate, Harry Mackay has improved. Wiedering has had a sensational year. Sam Walsh, magnificent again.
Paddy Cripps,
Curnow in the middle. Yep, Cripps has gone backwards. Now, I don't know if it's because Walsh has stepped up, so meaning he doesn't have to do as much, but he just doesn't seem to be doing, when the chips are down, what Cripps would normally do, they would do.
Yeah.
So that has been a bit of a struggle, I would definitely say.
Yeah.
But I think that they have improved. Eddie Betts kicks 5.
Worst thing could happen.
That was it was a good thing for him, but the worst thing because now they're going Eddie Betts 5. He played against a good backman all day, and he copped. But he had 4 before half time, I think, or 4 before half time.
Yeah, and then lights out.
Fizzled. Yeah, exactly right. But they all fizzled. They all went backwards. But mind you, and I'm going to get into someone in my top 5. Okay.
Yeah.
You'll see what happens with that in a moment too, because they've got a dilemma. They've got to sign Cripps, Walsh, and Mackay. So who do you take? Which one would you go with? Would you go with Walsh first, Mackay second, third with Cripps, or which order would you go with?
For Mackay.
Yep.
And then Walsh.
And then Cripps. Give him over to West Coast. If West Coast want to pay for him, so be it. We're going to get something good for him, but I don't know what West Coast have to offer because they gave up all their draft picks for Tim Kelly a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. Buzz is saying all 3 in any order. Buzz, I reckon it's the first 2 in either order. Like if you go with Mackay or go with Walsh, Walsh is a once in a, I shouldn't say generational, but if you look over the midfielders to come out over the last probably 2 or 3 years, he's been well above. He's just been a gun from day one.
He has.
So I think there's something there with him. He's their future captain, full stop. And Mackay's just playing sensational footy. So it's a tough one. They have got better, but they just still can't get across the line.
Right. Peps, number 2.
Go for it.
I don't know where to put this one.
Well, it's either 2 or 3.
No, I'm putting it there. I'm leaving it there. People who got offended from number 2 vote. People who got outraged that Port Adelaide wore the Port Adelaide traditional jumper in the change rooms. Absolute jellyfish out there losing their mind about it.
Geez, we've got a woke society, haven't we? Like, come on. Get off. That was just another deposit into the spank bank.
You can wear what you want to wear in your own club room.
What? Like, really? Who were they offending? Anyway.
Cracks me up.
You can wear whatever you want in the team song. Like, get over it, Collingwood. Collingwood. It's not even Collingwood. It's Eddie.
Well,
Get
Peps,
over it, Eddie.
I was confused. Why was Collingwood singing the Port Adelaide song?
Oh, they weren't. Jeez, I thought it was.
Were you confused?
I was looking for Scott Hodges. I couldn't see Scotty. Where was Scotty with the big 150? Couldn't see. Where was John Cahill? I thought he might have been out of eye shot.
Yeah.
Let them, there was no issue with it, and I loved it because it was like a giant F you, AFL.
Yeah, I'm a big
Sick
fan
and
of it.
tired of your bullshit. Make a decision on this thing.
And then the Eddie and Kosh personal war.
And Koshy, I tell you what, he had a great point because when Eddie gets beaten to a degree, he does go talking about features, facial features and all that sort of stuff. He talks about big noses. He talk about hairy back gorilla for, what's his name? Goodsy.
Yeah.
Like it's cheap shots, Ed, mate. I would say don't throw, stones in glass houses. But have a look in the mirror. And what's looking back here, it is not, I don't know, it's not Al McPherson-like. It's more Jabba the Hutt-like, I reckon.
Although there's nothing funny than two grown men throwing personal insults at each other.
Jesus Christ, they're both worth a squilly. Just take it to court for Christ's sake, can you?
Just settle with your lawyers.
Oh, God almighty. Buzz, if you can get Eddie on the show, we'd love to have him. Just make sure he doesn't listen to this episode.
So that's my number two.
What's your three? What's your three?
Number three. It's topical. It's me. I'm passionate into it. It's
the
Scott
Marbo.
Lysett getting 4 weeks for that tackle. Come on.
Are you serious?
4 weeks.
Yeah.
4 weeks.
It was a sling tackle.
It was not a sling tackle.
He slung him to the ground.
When he was already on the ground.
He slung him to the ground, knocked him out.
How do we resolve this? We're going to go, because the biggest man on the field grabbed the
It was
smallest man
something
and gave
there.
him
It was a bit
tackle.
like, it was the whole
what
Nick
are we-
one from the other week.
What are we going to do?
Should have got 6 on your jazza.
What are we going to do? We're going to start having weight divisions of who you can tackle, who you can't tackle?
No, but he got 6, mate.
Nominated tackle here. Nominated tackler.
No, tackle me. I'm 83. Tackle me, Jamie.
The ball is there. He's grabbed him and he's get him to the ground.
Jamie, you
It's
got to
not-
have
it's
you
not
got to
his
have
fault.
courtesy. You got to have
will.
courtesy for the other player. You have to show respect.
I will give. I'll happily take a 3-week ban, but 4. Come on.
Alex Neil-Bolland copped exactly the same. He slung a guy to the ground last year. There wasn't anything malice behind it. Actually, it might have been the season before. Against Adelaide, he copped a big ban as well too. Jack Trengove smashed Dangerfield. Similar. Got 4 weeks for that as well
So
too.
you can
Okay?
elbow in the face at speed.
That is bullshit. Don't get me started on that. That is crap because that's another example of intent over the injury. And we can go this one because I'm in damn right agreement with you. Because one of the things that when Judge Jamie gets back in a moment, when Judge Jamie gets back, you will see I'm going to rip into it because it is a disgrace what happened when it comes to Lysett and another person who
Cans are open. Worms are out.
Have a look at this. Have a look at this. The chat is going gangbusters. As soon as we start talking tribunal, as soon as we start talking sentences, etc., it's almost like the group here have a lot to do with sentences. Did I get bail? Did I not get bail? That sort of stuff. Yeah, I've got a lot to say.
How many sling tackles have we seen or sling actions just this past week of tackles and none of them get to the tribunal? This one here,
because
4
he was
weeks.
injured. Jamie, I'm mate.
4 weeks.
For once, I agree with you. Okay,
A month of football.
it's a joke. It's a joke. All right. The other one that I'll crack up about is when they were trying to compare what Bailey Fritsch did compared to what Dangerfield did, and they said, how did Dangerfield get 3 weeks and Fritsch only get off? Well, first and foremost, Dangerfield had about 1 second, 1 to half a second, which doesn't sound like a long time, but when you see someone running at you, he actually lined him up, banged him. The other one had 0.2 of a second. He was fending him off on something. So don't try and compare the pair. This is not your superannuation here, ladies and gentlemen. They were completely different. Exactly. So, yeah, it was an absolute disgrace, that one.
Also, Peps,
Yep.
I thought they do the tribunal 48 hours after the decision. Why wait till Tuesday?
No, because it
Once
went
again,
to the
it was-
no, because
it
it
was
went to
to
the
stop it.
tribunal. No, because it went to the tribunal. That was why it went to the tribunal. Usually they would come out with an answer, but this one had to go in front of the tribunal. All right.
Jesus.
So there's your 3. Is that your 3, my friend?
Well, that's my 3 for my...
Rightio. Okay, here's my 3, ladies and gentlemen. My 3, who's getting dragged? All right, so who's getting dragged? First and foremost, the crowds. We know that the crowds have been down over this year. We've spoken about it a fair bit, but
Yes.
gee, some of these numbers coming out of the games on the weekend were absolutely putrid. So as an example, St Kilda versus the Gold Coast Suns at Metricon, 9,200. Mm-hmm. Okay. GWS versus Essendon, 8,500. Right, so bit of a challenge there. But have a look at this. Collingwood versus North Melbourne. Now, how many do you reckon turned up to that game? Collingwood versus North Melbourne. Collingwood, who boast what? 90,000 members.
I'm going to say...
North
10,000.
Melbourne, who boasts 90 members.
10,000.
22,000. And I think it was a Collingwood home game as well.
22, and it was a Saturday Arvo game, wasn't it?
Saturday Arvo? Yeah, Saturday Arvo, I think it was, yeah. So, putrid. Here's another one. West Coast versus Hawthorn at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. How many members does Hawthorn have?
70,000.
Well, only 15 turned up. Mother's Day was the excuse for that one. All right.
Wow.
What about the Brisbane Lions Fremantle? Brisbane are flying at the moment. It's Brisbane. It's gorgeous weather up there. It's perfect one day, gorgeous the next. How many people?
6,000.
15 and a half.
Wow.
Like, the crowds are just down. Now, Tommy Roker on the chat has said, look, people are broke. Millions have lost their jobs. Maybe we've just been conditioned to the way footy. How many were at the Melbourne game? Yeah, I can tell you. 35,567, Buzz. Okay. So I don't really want to get into a conversation with you because I'm not. All right.
Peps.
But
So-
the crowds are down. I don't know whether it's the people don't like the game. You think that they'd be flooding back. I reckon it's a big thing to do with this ticketing system, but apparently that's going to be scrapped as of, I think, round 10. You'll be able to just basically go and sit in your own seats as you normally would. So maybe that'll allow people. People just want to walk up and go, hey, J-Dog, you want to go watch the footy? Okay, let's go. We just have to walk up and do. Okay?
All
So
right.
I think
got
people
another
want to see
question.
that.
Peps, another question. If this is the new norm going ahead,
Yep.
could we ever see ourselves going back to suburban football grounds? 10,000
No.
hanging off the rafters.
No. It won't happen in Metro. And it won't happen in won't happen in Adelaide, won't happen in West Coast, and it won't happen in Melbourne.
I hope not. But could this be the end of the 70,000 crowds on Saturday, Sunday?
Of course not.
Friday nights.
Of course not. No.
I'm
Not
just
at all.
putting it out there, Peps. You know
Nah,
me. I
you
just like
watch.
to ask the other questions.
Once people can just turn up to games like they normally would, the crowds will come back. I strongly believe that. Okay, I strongly
I'm
believe it.
interested to see what our listeners are going to say about
Well,
that.
a couple of them have said that the Suns and Giants should fold. That's a conversation for another day. 10,000 at Metricon's not a bad crowd. Okay, people are saying it's way too expensive. I don't think the prices have changed all that much. I just think with a year where you haven't been able to go to games, especially in Victoria, those crowds are low.
Can I tell you something, Peps?
Yes, mate.
The footy package these days you can get on Foxtel HD for $60 a month is a pretty bloody good package to sit at home and have beers with mates around.
I get KO for 25.
Yeah.
Spank that. Exactly right. So, but I'll tell you what, no, Buzz, we're not going to do we're not going to do suburban grounds for interstate teams. No.
I'd love to go to Casey and watch Melbourne play.
All right, I'm going to give my 2 votes now. All right, so my 2 votes goes to a guy I've mentioned a number of times over the weekend and over the last couple of weeks. Jordan De Goey kicked 6 goals on the weekend. He's back. De Goey's back. How good is De Goey? De Goey! Mate,
Yeah.
to go away with the rapture. He played North. He was playing on their third back. I don't even know who he was playing on, okay, because they are that bad. North have around, I think, 14 people on their injury list.
Yep.
Now, if they've got a list of 42 players, which is the norm, they've got 28 fit players to choose from. They're not even going to be able to get up a VFL team at the moment. Okay? So, Jordan De Goey, you've played against probably the fourth string backman. Okay?
Yep.
Mate, if I take off your 6 goals that you kicked, you've only kicked 7 in 7 games. And I think in one of those he kicked a bag of 4 as well. Mm-hmm. I think it might have been the GWS game. So if I take that out, you've kicked 3 goals in 6 games. And you want 850,000 plus. Get back on the donut, son, because that is a joke. I'm sorry, Collingwood supporters. I know that you love him, but he is taking the piss out of you guys, asking for that forward money. Last but not least, alrighty, here we go. This one, remember last week we were talking about umpiring? And we talked about the state of umpiring, how it's just getting worse. And they've just got no feel for the game. Well, I saw on the weekend probably the worst decision I have seen since the week before.
Right.
I want you to picture this. Collingwood versus North. Ball comes out of the middle. Cam Zurhaar picks up the ball, spins, has a shot from 50 metres out. The ball comes off the side of the boot, goes virtually 45 degrees, rolls out of bounds, and the umpire says, deliberate out of bounds, didn't make a genuine attempt to keep it in.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
He's had a shot. It's come off the side of his boot, and he's paid deliberate out of bounds. If that is what our game is coming to, if anybody saw that, it was joke. You know what, actually? I think there was one person who actually saw it, J-Dog.
Right.
I have actually got some audio of him being there. And
I love how you're looking down at your little sound.
Yeah, well, I have my sound
and you've got no idea which button you're going to press.
I know, I found it, David. Here it is. I think this guy actually saw it.
Right in front of me. Right in front of me.
In front of me.
You finally got it, Peps. You finally put a sample.
Oh, Jazz, the Roo boy, Chaztree was there, and he reckons that was an absolute joke.
Oh.
Hold on, Buzz. Mate, you may have seen me kick the ball like that. At least I got the ball, unlike your son, but we'll have another conversation for another day, Buzz. Oh, mate, I nicknamed the podcast after the way I delivered the footy. Let's just leave it at that. All right. So there's my 3-2-1. Dean Marr gets, that was a shocker. Jordan Ngoe, it was North. And the crowds, come on, guys, get back to the footy. It's the greatest game in the world. Get back. All right. All righty. Let's go and give the votes, mate. I'll start off. Let's go give the votes. Hey, Jody, are you there?
3 votes.
I mean, Mr. Demetriou, are you there?
3 votes.
All right, here's my 3 votes. Okay, first and foremost, I want to give a bit of a shout out to the GWS and Essendon game on the weekend, and the D's and Swans game, and also the Carlton and Western Bulldogs game. 3 cracking games of varied types of play. One was just back and forth, coming back from high scores. One was played in the wet, just grind and smash football. And another one was played under the roof and just quality all across the board too. So for those 6 teams, regardless of your win or if you lost, awesome stuff. So absolutely proud of what you rolled out. But I have to give my my 2 votes to a guy who did play in this game. It's honorary mention to Eddie Betts and Josh Bruce. But can I just say, when your name is the Bont, you can do anything you want. Because if anyone saw the last quarter and a half in what he pulled out, he was the difference. He made Paddy Cripps look like Jason Cripps. That's how good he was. He went around. He had 32 touches, right? 18 kicks, 14 handballs. He had 679 metres gained. Gotta love the metres gained. He kicked a goal, but it was just the way he was extracting it out of packs, and his delivery, my goodness, he was DHL. He was on time every time. It was exciting to see some of the work coming out of the back, coming out of the midfield. Carlton had no answer, and if Patrick Cripps is supposed to be the answer, mate, he's failed because he's not what he once was. There's something going on there, whether he's injured, the interest levels, I don't know, but. The Bont, my goodness gracious. Like they keep saying Petrarca is the Brownlow favourite at the moment. He's had a good season, but the Bont is absolutely sensational. But I have to go with, what's that?
Sorry, so the Bont for me is when he first came into footy. He was to me the most Kudafidamides player I've seen in the generation. Can do it all. Halfback, centre, forward, centre half forward, one ball pickup on the run, makes people look stupid ever on the ground, like Kudafidamides.
Well, you know his nickname is his full name is Marcus Bont and Pepper because of how he just used to take the piss out of everyone, just like wah. Okay,
I love the Bont. I love the Bont. I can never get enough Bont talk.
I just can never get enough Bont. I reckon he needs to change his number, but Bailey Smith with the sexiest hair in the AFL has got that number, so he won't change. And I want to give my 3 votes to a team I've been pretty stiff with over the time since we've been doing lace out over the last number of years for various types of reasons, because they get a massive run at their home ground. They make a truckload of dollars every year. They seem to get everybody who wants a nice country life to go down there. They did fall apart in a grand final last year, but can I just say what Geelong did to Richmond on Friday night? My goodness, if you do not have a Chubbs Farquhar watching that forward line weave its magic, Richmond had no answer. They did not know what to do. They started off on a flyer as they've normally done, and then Geelong just went whooshka and slapped the absolute crap out of it. And it was beautiful to watch. Cameron up there, magnificent. I think he had 6. I think Gary Rowan actually got a kick and found the ball on the MCG in a big game. 5 of the best. Mm-hmm. It's amazing what a new partner in your life will do for you. Hub Life was good to him. Mm-hmm. And then you've got Hawkins just doing his thing as well too. The midfield were exceptional. Backline stood up as they normally. They were beautiful. They were just beautiful to watch. And it leaves you questions with Richmond. Just with everything that's going on, it's getting harder and harder for them to make that top 4. And you know how important it is to get to that position. They've got a lot of injuries at the moment. They've just copped another couple on the weekend. Mm-hmm. They're sitting at 4 and 4. Mm-hmm. The gap between the top 4 and the bottom part of that is starting to get a bit of a gap.
Yep.
You can't count them out, but geez. And Tom Lynch, what a waste of money. Can I say that? It's a waste of money.
Peps,
He's done
podcast.
Nothing. Huh?
The podcast has your name all over it. You can say what you want to say, Peps.
Oh, it's just shocking. I think it's shocking. He's just not doing enough. I'm sorry. When Jack Rewalt is doing more than Tommy Lynch, hey, Richmond supporters, if I'm wrong, let me know on the chat. Put it on the Facebook page. If I'm wrong, prove it to me. But at the moment, he is not showing anything.
Let's go through some comments here from your.
He's more
your
like Jane Lynch than Tom Lynch.
We've got Tommy Rocker said Tom Lynch is going to ruin Richmond's dynasty with his back-ended contract.
Mm-hmm.
Jazz said Richmond won't get a 3-peat, not at all this year.
Yep.
We've also got Kuda was a mug there. I don't know what that means.
Jazz has come out with Rewald is a big sook. And Craig Jones from the Port Adelaide podcast, did somebody say KFC? Tom Lynch is a bedwetter. Thanks very much, Tom. All the way from Brisbane. All right,
love it.
We're multi-stateral, we're national, we're international. So we love the comments coming in. All right, J-Dog.
Yes.
What are we going to hit? I reckon it's time for... Is it time for Judge Jamie?
No, it's time for me to do my 3 votes.
Oh, sorry.
Jesus. And then we've got Peps. Let me just give you a run of how our show works, Peps. And then after we do this, we do the listener question, and then after that, I introduce a new listener question for the following week, and then we do a wrap up, and then we close off the podcast. That's how we've been running, Peps. Just to remind you how we do this show.
Okay. And the crowd's reaction to Jamie's spray was.
All right. Number 1, Geelong. 15 goals between 3 players. That was sensational. Jeremy Cameron was worth every bit of dollar. If Richmond are looking at going, fuck. I wish our forward did that.
Shit, what did fucking...
the ball in the air or on the ground, it did not matter. Jeremy Cameron was on the end of it and just snagging it through every time. That was great. 5 goals.
But you know what? Jeremy Cameron has been doing that his whole career. His whole career.
It was lean years, but anyway, yes.
Oh, yeah, lean years with 60.
That was great to see. Geelong, good stuff.
Good on him.
Number 2, Shy Bolton. You
Oh,
got the car. You got the car. We're done.
the car, the
Competition
Matchbox
over.
car.
We're done.
Did you hear about this? Nick Nat was telling the year he won Mark of the Year, and he rang up his manager and said, we've got Weet-Bix. Weet-Bix is sponsoring it this year. When we've got a delivery for you. And he thought it was, Weet-Bix is sponsoring a car. No, it was a year's worth of Weet-Bix, and he told him to piss off.
Yep.
God.
So that competition's closed. That's done now for the year. That's the Mark of the Year, Peps.
Well, Jeremy Howe's out.
Yeah, exactly right. So we're not going to see any better marks than that. Number 3 for me, Peps. Bit of love towards you and your team. Melbourne 8-0. Never been done before by your guys. Bloody exciting. And I'm happy to see my fellow co-host of the podcast get up and about and get really excited about it every week, because there's nothing that brings me more joy than seeing my friends excited about their passion. So, Peps, I'm loving it.
That 45 minutes ago, that sentiment had changed. That I can't wait to see it fall off the edge of the cliff and you in the fetal position.
Peps, I only play devil's advocate sometimes. So they're my 3, 2, 1. 3 is definitely Melbourne, 2 is Shy Bolton, and number 1 is Geelong. One vote is Geelong, the 15 goals between 3 people.
Fair enough. Beautiful. All right, great work, J-Dog. All right, where are we going to now, my friend? Hey, listener question. What have we got? So last week's question, Jamie's question for you all, if you remember, was...
2 seconds, Peps.
Oh, so Jamie, how your segment works is that you have it prepared.
All right, listener question was, if your pub only served one meal, which are you choosing? A, chicken parmigiana, B, steak sanger. Lots of responses, lots of passion in this stuff. In this kind of question.
This was, yes.
All right, so we've got Nick from the Porches podcast. Chicken palmy with Hawaiian topping. Yes, pineapple goes on more than just pizza. I don't know how I feel about a Hawaiian Parma. Oh, I don't know how I feel about that. Peps, how about you? Yes or no? Quick yes or no?
No.
Okay, good. Stavros Makros has said Parma. Jared has chosen a Parma. I'm not going to read your comment, Peps. I've already given you a warning. This is your warning. Free kick against you, Peps.
What did I say? Steak sanger.
You don't answer the question until the show.
Steak sanger for me every day of the week.
You've broken the 666 rule. Free kick. I gave you a warning last week. We've got Jeff McNair said steak Sammy for sure.
Tommy Roker says steak sanger on the chat.
Steak. No one says steak sandwich. Steak sandwich from me. Obviously chicken parma from Luke Thompson. We've got Ross Garlick said steak sanger. Ryan Noonan said steak sanger. Corey Vandertuck said palmy all day. Add mushroom sauce too. That's luxury. Nadine Bricknob looks like I'll go hungry. Sounds like she might not be a fan of either of those options. Simon Grills, this even a question. How about remove B?
Bear's cousin?
Yes. Remove option B and done. Graham Wilkinson said, do people still order steak sangers? And from that, people were saying, is beer not a meal? Fair point. And we've got John Michael has come out and said Parma, and if anybody calls it Palmy, they're wrong. And then from there, we've had people say, well said. Palmy or Parma. It's a tricky one. So, Peps, that's been a good response. I think from there, I actually think the steak sanger took it.
Yes, double cobras for the steak sangers.
Yeah.
Love a good steak sanger. You cannot beat it.
Well, I'm actually not. My vote might be the one here that decides. For me, Parma all day, every day, all day, every day. And yours is obviously a steak sanger because you gave away your bloody answer too early.
Premature adjudication once again.
All right, Peps.
All right, so that's the question. What's this week's? Because these have been lighting up the chat board. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you don't have to ask your mum and dad for permission for this one. Get on the Lace Out Facebook page, and we want to know the answer to this question.
Rightio. So this question is, I don't know which one to go for, but I'm going to choose this one here because it's a bit of a one from left field, Peps, and you have to think about this one. You ready? Is cereal a soup? Yes or no?
Fucking, that is the worst question you've ever produced.
Is it a soup or not?
Is cereal soup?
Think about it. Is it a soup or what is it? What is cereal?
So, ladies and gentlemen, this will be the last ever listener question because that is the word. That is
Our listeners are very smart. They're much smarter than you and I. And let's see where they take this one.
Oh, to the bin. Is
They
soup
may take it.
is cereal soup? Are you actually going to write that up on? Okay, that's the
yeah.
question for this week. You know, we've got to respect the question. Is cereal soup?
Why or why not?
And this is Jamie's question. I'm not putting my name to it. I'm putting my name to the podcast, but not to this question.
I want to see our listeners' skills in justifying their answer.
Jamie, you can't be cereal. Buzz, see, Buzz, sometimes he brings the good stuff. Earlier
Sometimes.
tonight, not so good.
Well, tell me why, Buzz. Don't just go that. Tell me why.
All right.
That's where you want to see it.
It's just stupid, to be honest.
No.
Hey, you know what? I respect you. You're the co-host with the most. You're allowed to ask questions like that. Hey, one quick thing. We were talking about Lynch and Cameron. Mm-hmm. So I look at it this way. Career games-wise, 183 to Lynch, 174 for Jeremy Cameron. Goals-wise, 363 for Lynch, 439 for Cameron. I think that says it all. I think that says it all.
And I think they've both had basically two seasons wrecked from injuries. So that's fair.
Exactly
it's
right.
even.
Yep, exactly right. All right. Hey, great man. It's up for our next little segment that we introduced last week based on the listener feedback. 1 week at a time. We're taking it 1 week at a time. And so what we're going to do is we're looking towards this week's fixture. Once again, we'll be going into a lot more detail on Tipped Out Thursday night. We had a small delay last week. Technical issue. Me. And so this week we'll be going back on Thursday night. So get ready for that. And then as of next week, we will have the teams ready for Tipped Out as well too. So it's Tipped Out, your tips every week, just the way you want it with Peps and J-Dog. All right. So we're heading into round 9 this week. Jamie Wallis, what game has got you salivating at this particular moment in time?
Only one, Peps.
Okay.
Port Adelaide Western Bulldogs. Saturday, 7:10. Should be a Friday night game. Let's not lie about that. At Adelaide Oval.
Yeah, that's actually going to be a bit of a blinder, I reckon. Looking forward to that. Will the flat track bullies beat the Western bullies? Ruff, ruff. It's going to be an interesting one for yourselves. Cracking forward line, 2v3. Going to be a good game. I actually am looking at a game at the moment. Can I give my honorary mention and then the one that I'm really looking forward to?
You sure can.
Okay, my honorary mention is the 2:10 game at the University of Tasmania on Saturday afternoon, which is going to be the Hawks versus North. 17th versus 18th.
Good game.
Could you imagine what happens to Hawthorn if they lose to North? This
Good
is
game.
North's chance. I thought they were okay against Collingwood, but the skill level was that's the difference. Because they have to work so hard, the skill levels, it's just not there because they're just trying to get to every contest, and when you're fatigued, you're not going to hit targets.
I like it.
Don't rate either of these teams. I did actually pick the Hawks last week, and they let me down. But the game that I'm actually looking forward to is at 7:25 p.m. Saturday night as well at Marvel Stadium, Richmond versus GWS. GWS snuck on the skin of their teeth against the Dons last week. Richmond, I think they've lost 3 out of their last 4, and they're coming up against a rampaging GWS, chock full of energy. They are going to be down by Jeremy Finlayson. We didn't get onto this. You're a dick. Why go and throw an elbow for? Absolutely ridiculous on what happened there. It was stupid. Absolutely stupid.
He was having a good game too.
So it's just stupidity. That, like they say, they should have the idiot clause. You should have got an extra week for stupidity because it was just dumb, made no sense. But I reckon that's going to be an absolute belter. Buzz is saying on the chat that Carlton and Melbourne. Yes, I am a little bit nervous for this game. I'm pretty nervous for every single game at the moment. But these are the type of games that Melbourne need to demoralise teams, and whether they're going to do it, I don't know. But there's my honorary mention. But I'm really looking forward to seeing if the Tigers can get on the winning because basically the team who wins that is going to be in the 8 and the other team's going to be out of the 8. So it's an 8-point game, this one. So there's our 1 week at a time.
Correct.
Beautiful.
Peps, we've got about a minute or 2 left. Any questions from the listeners that they want us to answer? I did see one earlier from Jazz talking about who we think the premiership team will be this year.
Oh, gee, Jazz, you've gone early. You have gone early.
Peps, just chuck a name out there.
Who do I think is going to be the premiership team at the moment? Melbourne.
Very good. I think a premiership team this year at the moment is... I'm still finding it hard to go against Richmond.
Yeah, fair enough.
Still finding it
Fair
hard.
enough.
I think tough. It's a tough one. Melbourne is good, but I don't know. It's just that trust with Melbourne.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
That's true. The other one that I don't want to say it, but I have to, is after what they did on Friday night to Geelong.
Yep.
That's scary. It's just, is Dad's Army going to win the battle or are they going to win the war? I don't know whether they can take it all the way down. It's still a long season, lots of things to happen.
Brave people ride off Geelong early this season.
I was one of them, but it's going to be a big one. Going to be a big one there. Okay. So just a couple of things to wrap this episode up. So remember, get on Jamie's question, regardless of what you think of it.
It's there already.
It's there already. Superstar. Get on the, if you haven't.
Superstar? I see what you did there, Peps. Oh, clever.
I've been playing that one all day. If you haven't done our listener feedback, we'd love to hear from you. I know there's a lot of people who are listening to this. Please, whatever feedback that you have for us, we've got one. There's only one question that you need to answer. Why us? It's as simple as that. The other thing that we're going to be doing is, once again, you've got your 30% off sharing footies, so that there. And we've got another giveaway coming up, which is going to take you back to your childhood and the school ground during footy season and bad sticks of chewing gum. I'm going to leave that one there with you, but something that we're going to be giving away from another one of our little sponsors for the show this year who's decided to help us out, so it's kind of cool too. So, look, there's a massive show. Everybody who's been on the chat, massive. The mid-season draft is coming up. Haven't got much research into it just yet, but we'll have a bit of a chat once it gets a little bit closer. Thursday night, we'll have our tips, so get on it. More importantly, everybody who's tuned in tonight, thank you very much and be part of the show. Everybody who's listening to this, thank you very much for you are doing an amazing job listening to us every single week. Like I said, our numbers are through the roof, and we just want to. I want to set a challenge for you, listeners. I want you to throw your arms around each other. Let's get in a huddle. All right. I want you to go out this weekend, and I want you to hit the packs hard. What I want you to do is go and find someone that you know and say, hey, listen, I want to make you a smarter person. I want to make you a more educated person. I think you're wasting a lot of time in your life, and I reckon you can use it a lot better. What I want you to do is I want you to get your phone out, and I want you to open up Spotify or open up Apple Podcasts or whatever you listen to, and I want you to search for Lace Out. Lace Out, it is the number one AFL podcast that I listen to, and I reckon it'll make your life so much better. Get on here. I'll sit with you. I'll watch you subscribe. Watch them subscribe and let them listen to an episode, and I want you to have a laugh and have a cry with them as J-Dog and I go through the games each and every single week, because that's what it's all about. It's all about you. So you go ahead. That's the challenge I have for you. Do it hard. Do it well. We're going to see you next week. J-Dog, how do you want your Lace Out Footy podcast?
I guess Lace Out.
How do you want your footy? He wants it Lace Out. I'm Chris
Lace out,
Pepper.
always.
That's J-Dog. Have a great week. Hope your team wins. And more important, go D's!
Boy.
See you, listeners. Thanks for listening to our latest episode. If you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on iTunes. I'm your host, Chris Pepper, and with Jamie Wallis, we give you your footy how you want it. Lace out.